and everything went off. So, my apologies. The Judgment Day, right? So, yeah, all I was saying was that if Damian Priest, or if Rhea's not going to be the leader, then Damian Priest needs to be. I have nothing against Finn Balor, but yeah, sorry. They move on, and the panel actually starts talking. Um, Peter Rosenberg is kind of their special guest host, the former 24/7 champion. He says that Toronto is one of the biggest wrestling cities ever, but that Damian Priest is just playing at a higher level than he ever has before. They're really driving home this idea that Damian Priest may just be too much for Edge, which is complete madness. Of course, they're gonna let Edge win, um, but it's nice that they're at least trying to build up that idea of Priest possibly winning. But they take a quick commercial break, and then they discuss the first round women's tag team championship match between Alexa Bliss and Asuka, and Nikki Ash and Doudrop. And like, I feel so bad for the Scottish connection, because like, they're almost like the female street profits. Like, all they do is lose. Like, all they do. And Nikki Ash and Doudrop both are so much better than that. And they've been a tag team a lot longer than the other people who are winning in the tournament. But anyway, this kind of led into an interview with Kevin Patrick and Control. So this faction with Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky. He talks about the faction kind of wreaking havoc. They're doing exactly what they set out to do. He alludes to Dakota Kai and her first singles match victory. And so at the Clash of the Castle, he says we'll see all three of them together. And you got kind of this lineup of different lines that each member of the faction says. Dakota says this latest win is just a cherry on top. Bayley says that they look to control, dominate, and take over everything. And Io Sky adds that they'll be facing Bianca, Alexa, and Asuka, and they'll defeat them too. I could have taken or left it, to be honest. What is Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins? Oh my gosh! And ladies and gentlemen, Joe Mama has entered the chat. And I never even thought about that. I mean, Seth Rollins, especially with the whole CrossFit Jesus thing, he definitely looks like Cheshire Borgia. And then, like, they made it even more explicit with like the whole Monday Night Messiah and him having some, little minions like Buddy Matthews or Buddy Murphy, I guess at the time. Yeah, but they absolutely do. Roman Reigns, Samoan version of that. But after Control's interview, they go to the U.S. Championship match between AJ Styles and the almighty Bobby Lashley. I'd love to know what you all think about what's happening with kind of the booking of Bobby Lashley. Like, is it the right decision to even keep the belt on him right now? Like, let me know in the chat what you all think about this. I would love to know. But at least for my personal opinion, it's good that he's adding to the reputation. Who's the bootleg Cesaro next to Roman? I don't know. I don't know who is the bootleg Cesaro next to Roman. Are you saying Seth is the bootleg Cesaro? Cause I don't think I quite got you there. I'm a keep looking to see what you mean, but I'm not too sure. I see Cesaro as such an individual. You know, that's my boy. I can't see anybody being bootleg Cesaro. He's uh uh he's one. He's unique. Um, but yeah, I like that Bobby Lashley is adding to kind of this hard-working reputation of the U.S. Championship. Again, I think I said last week that the United States Championship has become like the full timers top championship, which is very nice. And he still feels different from even a full time Roman Reigns because Roman Reigns would only defend his championships during pay per views, even when he was full time. And so it's nice to get like these great TV matches like Champa and AJ Styles with Bobby Lashley every single week, it seems like. Or I hope it'll be every single week. They aren't afraid to let the TV audience see it. But after a final commercial break, Raw Talk replay the Seth Rollins, aka bootleg Cheshire Borgia, Riddle altercation. He will need a priest in order to be Edge. They're not gonna let it happen. I stand by that. They're not gonna let it happen. Um, but with Riddle in this interview and Seth Rollins, it was so great to see how credible Riddle looks. I would say he's almost at the crux of being a main eventer, but he kind of feels like one already now. Like they've done a great job at building him even in defeat. Like he seems more serious now, even in his gigantic 420 shirt. He just feels like someone who's ready to break in. And I think Roman, I have to give him his props on that too, because he did allow him to get some really close near falls in their match earlier in the summer too. From there, they move on to Kevin Owens and Drew McIntyre. Now, this was my favorite match of the night, and it started with the best battle of words that I've seen in such a long time. Like, you felt all of the genuine frustration. Like, that stuff was real that they were talking about. Um, and then the match ended up being even better than their battling promos. Like, with the exception of the finish. That was my only problem. I could not stand that finish. The Usos just ruined the match for me after that. Uh, but I realized that was the point, though. Every time I hate to keep cracking up, but I love Joe Mama's comments. Uh, but yeah. What did you all think about the end of the Drew Kevin Owens match? And what did you think about the match in general? Like, just yeah, let me know. Personally, I'd love to see a KO McIntyre bout again sometime, and definitely a championship rivalry. Absolutely. I was salivating over that prospect. But Sarah Schreiber had the SmackDown Warrior backstage, and she asked what it was like to be back on Raw. Because, you know, of course, he's on SmackDown now. He says it feels like home Raw does because of his time as WWE Champion. Thank you so much, Joe Mama. I appreciate that. Drew says it's a real island that they're going to. You know, the UK is not a fictional island like the island of relevancy. And he's going to take the titles back to Raw, back to SmackDown, and back home to Raw now that he's grown up and gotten hair in strange places. But Kevin Owens will get the first shot at the title when he wins. And Drew, especially that comment about hair growing in strange places, like he says the most random tough sometimes. Just so, but that's part of his allure though, and you know he's off the cuff with a lot of stuff he says. Peter Rosenberg talks about how impressed he is with Drew both on the mic and in the match. Camp talks about how important the event is, how it's a home field advantage, and how KO's decision to kind of let the Usos go on and beat Drew McIntyre up might benefit him more than it actually did Roman Reigns. And that was a nice emphasis, truth be told, in terms of storytelling, because that can go either way. You got a good reason for Drew and him to keep feuding and fighting with each other, but then at the same time, you also have Roman owing him one. Yeah, that was kind of the key to him going off and leaving the Usos. The tribal chief owes me one. So even though KO and Roman fought a boatload of times, I wouldn't mind seeing a couple more matches. I mean, it's better than him and Brock, which we've seen a million times before. They're doing pretty well, but they can't really just coast. Karrion Kross versus Reigns versus Lesnar, that would make it better, but I still, at this point, don't even want to see Roman and Lesnar in the ring anymore. Like, the tractor brought me back into it, like, for that moment. But other than that, no. Just no. Not for like 5 more years do I want to see another match with Roman and Brock. I just can't. The Judgment Day brought some menacing good fun. Drew was great as usual, although a little bit of his promo sounded like it was borrowed from the earlier segment from Raw. And I'm still not sold on a 3-person faction being on Raw Talk. I think it's a little too much. The way they had control, it was like Bayley says a line, Dakota says a line, Io says a line. Felt very formulaic. But just overall, this trend of there being an amazing Raw and an okay Raw Talk, it's kind of extended to Triple H now, because this show for me was like, all right. I gave it like a 3.5 out of 5. The Judgment Day and Drew brought it up a little, but not much more than that. But yeah, what do you all think about anything? I'm excited for Clash at the Castle. I know probably in the long run a lot is not gonna change. They act like they fear ratings. I don't know. We'll see though. I would love for this to be Drew's moment. To be honest, like, he deserves it. He's a full timer. Like, he wasn't lying in his promo when he says that the fans need a full time champion. And as much as I love Roman, if he's not going to be full time, he needs to give the belts up. I don't want to see a part time Roman Reigns as champion until WrestleMania of next year. Oh my gosh, I'm done. You probably won't be the only one who would rather go to White Castle. Maybe you could take, I don't know, Jinder and Shanky with you. Is that, that's not insensitive, is it? They could be like the new Harold and Kumar. Never mind. Pay me no mind. But let me know what you all think in the comments. I hope that you've enjoyed this first kind of regular stream. And yeah, just let me know what you all think. If you'd like for me to continue this format, if you prefer, you know, the way it was. Yeah, again, so happy that you all are here, even though I might sound like a little bit of a token in saying that. Thanks for bearing with me, and I'll see you guys next time.